Formula One's annual trip to Australia is a celebration of motorsport. And another record-breaking crowd was on its feet from lights out, with Ferrari's Carlos Sainz making the most of Max Verstappen's retirement to secure his maiden Australian Grand Prix win, just 2 weeks after he had an emergency appendectomy that sidelined him in Saudi Arabia. Sainz led Leclerc home for the brand's first 1-2 since Bahrain 2022, and its first in Melbourne since 2004, harking back to the legendary Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello. It was an emotional result for the Spaniard, given what he's been through so far this year, including news Lewis Hamilton will replace him in 2025. What happened at the beginning of the year, then the podium in Bahrain, then the appendix, the comeback, the win. It's a roller coaster, but I loved it, he said. McLaren didn't have the pace to challenge Ferrari in Australia, but scored double points for the third straight race, with Norris on the podium for the first time since Brazil 2023. With the Brit ordered past teammate Oscar Piastri, which robbed the local fans of a maiden home podium. Remaining Red Bull driver Sergio Perez scuttled home to 5th. Having struggled throughout the race, damaging his reputation as the strength of his opening 2 rounds bled off. In the first stint, the balance was super neutral. I didn't have any rear grip, and we completely destroyed the rear tires. And then in the second stint, I completely destroyed the front tires, he said. Aston Martin driver Lance Stroll finished 7th on the road, but he rose to 6th after his teammate Fernando Alonso was penalized by the race stewards for potentially dangerous driving at turn 6 in his battle against Mercedes' George Russell on the final lap, which forced the Brit to crash at the corner exit, bringing out the virtual safety car. Alonso was handed a 20-second time penalty and 3 penalty points on his license, dropping him to 8th, after it was determined that he lifted slightly more than 100 meters earlier than he ever had going into that corner during the race. The double world champion, though, disagreed with the steward's ruling. I wanted to maximize my exit speed from turn 6 to defend against him. That's what any racing driver would do, and I didn't feel it was dangerous. It's disappointing to get a penalty from the stewards for what was hard but fair racing, Alonso said. As a result, Yuki Tsunoda was also elevated 1 place to 7th for the RB team's maiden points of 2024. Haas completed the top 10, rejoicing with its first double points finish of the season. To the drivers' standings, and Verstappen's lead has been slashed to just 4 points to Leclerc after his lap 4 retirement in Australia due to brake failure. Checo is 1 point behind the Ferrari driver in 3rd. Onto the constructors, and Ferrari has closed up to Red Bull with its 1-2 result, just 4 points the gap. Mercedes is vulnerable in 4th. Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.